most companies don't have a system for mentorship. Like, what is a mentor supposed to do? What is the job description of a mentor? Am I supposed to just be there to answer questions? Am I an encyclopedia for whoever is coming new? Am I supposed to do role play with them? Am I supposed to give them homework or her homework? What is the system of, what is the process of mentoring people? So there's that. And people say like, oh, it's in the end, it's the manager's responsibility to mentor. And yes, the manager has one responsibility to make sure that the SEs are mentored and coached. But also like the manager is responsible for a lot of different things, like the business strategy, hiring, firing, building the team, building process, working with product management, marketing, sales. I mean, there's a lot of work happens between sales engineering leaders and sales leaders because there's a lot of sales engineers and salespeople fighting for some reason. Approving travel, conducting performance reviews. So it's not just their job. And in my current company, one SE manager has 20 people under them. We had Akshat on the show, and that was kind of a question that people asked in interviews. Like, how many people do you manage? 1,700? Okay, then you might not be there for me. And if that's okay with you, that's okay with you. But if it's not, and you're looking for a little bit more personalized coaching, then that's not good. In my experience, I've only seen managers really coach SEs who are when SEs are on a like performance improvement plan, a PIP. And even then, when they're on a PIP, at that point, it might be too late. And it might be just easier for the sales engineer manager to invest in a new SE. So like, I don't like calling what I just described earlier as mentorship, to be honest. And I'm always honest. Paul Urphy, he's been on the show. He was on show 197 of the podcast, and he has become a friend since then. He called this wingmanning. Like, you're there to be the wingman. If someone has any questions, they can ask. But it's not really mentoring per se. So this has been so far fairly negative podcast. There is a silver lining because as SEs, I can see two options for SEs right now. Option one, which most people end up doing, is finding actual mentors. And I started We the SEs, the podcast, specifically for that. So I can talk to people outside of my like employer's purview or even my industry. Because SEs within my employers, like within my organization, were doing the same mistakes that I was doing. So that was no help. Also, people within my industry tend to do the same things in a similar fashion. So I would have very much limited what I learn if I were to just focus on my industry. So the podcast, like I've had 207. This is episode 207. I've talked to maybe 200 people, and I talked to a lot more throughout. This podcast has acted kind of as a mentor for me. But I've worked on this for years. I started this in 2018. It's 2022. It's been more than 4 years because I started in February. Not many people have that much time or patience. I can't believe I had this patience, to be clear. So you might just want to go out and find mentors, but they cannot be assigned. That's the thing. You cannot have assigned mentors. They're assigned. You didn't pick them. You didn't click with them. You didn't learn anything about them. They're assigned. What you have to do is basically convince some people that you look up to that you are worth their time. And you could have a relationship outside of like whatever company. Like, you can go play tennis with them and just pick their brain, or I know that's what one person does. And it's not an official role that they sign up to. They just do mentor, like you build a relationship with them and they kind of become mentors, kind of the same way people become friends. You don't sign a contract to be a friend with someone. You don't do pinky swears and BFF. I don't know what people do actually. I'm just going to stop here. So it's a relationship that you need to build. And Chris White has been my mentor for a bit now, and for both being an SE and actually helping guide me or provide feedback on how I can have we the SEs have a bigger impact on people in general and the biggest impact as possible. But he's a busy guy. He's working a full-time job as an entrepreneur, so he's very busy. It's hard to get a hold of him sometimes. So mentors are not always available when you need them. And that brings me to the next option that I see, which is external coaching. And this is something I wish I would have had a long time ago. I mean, I wouldn't have spent a year and a half thinking that I was the best thing since sliced bread. And then a year and a half after that, flailing in the wind, reading 17,000 books about sales and the 2 books about sales engineering that I could find. The podcast helped. People jumped on calls and ran me through things, but it's not coaching. They would help me one time and then they're busy. I mean, they don't have time to spend working with me all the time. So I had to find other ways. And because people have helped me, I've also helped other people. I like to help people in the SE family, which is my family. I consider SEs as part of my family. And that's where I can see their eyes light up when they realize something. We always talk about, hey, what do you love about sales engineering? It's like, oh, seeing the eyes light up for my customers when we help them solve a problem. I find a bigger impact in helping individual SEs and helping them fix something in their life or career or understand something that they've been doing wrong and how they can fix it.